What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here, and today... Yeah, I need to go dumb. Alright, today we are taking a look. Well, not really taking a look. This is a channel announcement, sorry. Sort of. Channel announcement, taking a look video. Not really a taking a look video, because I'm not really going to be doing much in this video, other than just really talking to you guys, so... But we are playing, or I am playing, a game called Albion Online, and it's a game I've been playing pretty much straight for the last 3 weeks. I have tried a few other games as well. I think in the last 2 months. I don't know. When's the last time I uploaded a video? Let's go look. Let us all go and look. Alright, so the last video I uploaded was June 26th, so it's literally been a month, and before that I was regularly uploading in May, so, well, at the end of May, so we'll say the 1st of June. We are now at the end of July, so I basically took 2 months off, and I kind of needed it. I don't know, life comes at you fast sometimes, and I just kind of needed some time to kind of revamp, take a collective break and then just kind of decide what I wanted to do. I've been going through a lot of, I guess you would say like a midlife crisis, so to speak, where just kind of rethinking everything and trying to figure out what like I said, it's an age thing with me. As I'm getting older, I'm trying to figure out, what I want to do, what I need to do, certain things, et cetera, and kind of what I want to do with my spare time, retirement, my future, Kat's future, that kind of stuff, where I want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, et cetera, and I don't know. It's funny when you're young, you don't think about these things, which is part of the reason why, most of us get to where I'm at. Well, not most of us, but a lot of us get to where I'm at and don't have, retirement plans. They don't have savings. They don't have any of that shit. And, it's rough, because you don't think about what you're going to do, towards the second half of your life. Because the second half of your life, I'd say like 50 plus, it's anywhere from 10 to 30 years, which is more than probably most of you guys have been alive, and you don't really think about it until you get to the point where you're in it, and then at that point it's like, well, fuck, I should have done this and that and this and that. And I think it's a big part of why people, there's a phrase that youth is wasted on the young. It's because when we're young, we're stupid, we make stupid decisions, we do stupid things, and a lot of times we end up paying for it, and it's wild. And I don't want to go on a rant on that. We can talk about that on like a stream or something, but what I want to talk a minute about what the channel, what we're going to do with it, or what I'm going to do with it, and you can do it with me if you want. And what I mean by that is stick around, or you can get pissed and fuck off. That's fine too. What the fuck? I've never seen one like this. Why are there special icons here? What the fuck, man? Does that mean somebody's in there, maybe? I don't know. No, because it's a fucking... Okay, I gotta go in. I don't know what this is, but we're gonna go in, because I've never seen that particle effect before. Real quick before we look at it, this is a solo dungeon. It's a dungeon that's designed to be soloed, and as soon as you go in, no one else can come in. This is not a PvP enabled dungeon, it's purely PvE. I've just never seen that effect before, so I wanted to come and check it out. I don't think it's going to be anything new or special, but I was kind of curious. So anyways, this is probably better. I was going to do corrupted dungeons, but this is probably a better idea for talking, because it won't require any thought processes on my end. So anyways, to the channel announcement side of things, back in, I want to say late May, JJ and I kind of hooked back up. I mean, we're family, so you're always kind of hooked up with your family, but we hadn't played games together in a while, and you know, family's starting to become important to him. It's important to me. And so we've kind of spent the last month trying to figure out stuff that, you know, we both enjoy and something that, you know, we would like to do together. And we thought that was going to be EverQuest, but we ran into some unique problems with EQ. And don't get me wrong, EQ is a good game, but it has some very, very nasty issues with it that are prohibitive for new players. And some of those issues are mitigated with the TLPs, the time lock progression servers. But like if you want to start on live right now, it's basically impossible. There is no one that plays that game sub, you know, level 100, and it is a group game. It is not a game that is designed to be played by yourself. And yeah, there's a mercenary, which allows you to kind of catch up, so to speak. But that mercenary stops working, I would say, at around 75 to 80, which means you've got another 20 plus levels you've got to grind with something that isn't going to work. I mean, you can still do it, but, you know, if you were in a group, the amount of, you know, you're going to kill 5 to 10, well, probably more like 20 to 30 times as many monsters as you will kill if you were solo. And it's not even close. Like, I mean, we're talking absolutely ridiculous differences. And so, like I said, the game is not designed to be played solo. It is designed to be a group game, which is fine. But I mean, that's part of the fun of that game. But when there are no groups, you run into issues, and I'm not going to go into anything more than that. But that was basically our problem with it. Is we wanted to play on live, and it, you know, we got up to I think we're about level 70, and then it starts really slowing down. And by slowing down, I mean, like, we're not talking, you know, like WoW, you can, some people think WoW has a grind, but in WoW, you can easily get up to max level in a week, and EQ, you know, you're looking at months, and that's months of playing, you know, 3 to 4 hours a night, and it's not good. And even on the TLPs, you're going to run into issues after the initial wave, you know, because the TLPs you can get in early and you're good. And then after that, you know, after the first, I'd say 90 days, there's nobody in those lower level zones either. And unfortunately on a TLP, you don't even have access to a merc. So it's even worse there. Now, you can usually find somebody who's power leveling, and maybe you can run along with them, or you might find somebody who's in a guild that might be willing to help you out, or you have to spend money. You have to buy what they call a chrono, which is basically game time. And then once you buy a chrono, that will give you the ability to pay some dickbag who literally does this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with 6 computers and 6 accounts, and he'll level you. And that just, I don't know, it's just not fun. I mean, you're playing to bypass the game so that you can later play the game. And yeah, so anyways, so we ran into those issues. We enjoyed it for, I want to say, a good month, but it just wasn't working for us long term, and it kind of became obvious that, you know, it was just going to be prohibitive. And once you kind of figure out that that's not going to work, it doesn't work for you. So we ended up looking at other games. We tried Guild Wars 2 out, which is interesting, but it's not really what we were looking for. It's JJ and I like Trinity games. For those guys who don't know what a Holy Trinity is, it ain't biblical. It's you have the tank, you have the healer, is there no fucking chest over here? Really? Okay. I can't tell if this is staircase up or, yeah, okay. Anyways, Holy Trinity, tank, healer, DPS, you know. What about support? Well, I mean, yeah, that's usually kind of implied in there, but it's not. They don't get to go in the name, you know. They're the dude who helps with the family restaurant, but their name doesn't go on the table. They're not a named partner, so to speak. So, anyways, it just wasn't a good fit for us. So we tried we went back and I think we literally spent one night on WoW, and I don't know, it just didn't fit. So we tried some shooters. You know, Halo's good, and I mean, good is obviously figurative, not figurative here, but it's kind of in the eye of the beholder, so to speak. You know, what I think's good, you might not. I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think it's an amazing game, but I think it's, you know, for a free-to-play game, it's definitely good. I enjoyed it. But it's also very frustrating at times. It doesn't have the biggest population, and there's a lot of issues with some of the content that they chose not to put back in the game. And I'm talking about Halo Infinite. It's free. It's on, what do you call it? Xbox Game Pass. It's also, I think, on Steam. I've got like a 4-year or 3-year membership on Game Pass, so I play most of those. But anyways, I mean, we're still playing it, but you know, it's not the same. You don't get the same progression feel. You don't. It's just not the same as playing an MMO or an RPG or something along those lines, because you know, you get in, you kill some people, but that's it. You know, it's not, there's no depth there. Does that make sense? I mean, I guess you could talk with ranked. That kind of gives you some character progression, so to speak. But it's not the same thing as, you know, an MMO. Because, I mean, with an MMO, you've got skills, you've got money, you've got, you know, possibly political intrigue, et cetera, et cetera. And those are all features you can't really get in a shooter. So, and not only that, but like Halo's different for me than most other shooters. I jumped literally right into that. Wow, multiple times. Okay. Yeah. All right. Never seen that effect before. So, one of my favorite MMOs is a game called EVE Online, and unfortunately, that's also one of the MMOs that JJ absolutely hates, and he hates it because, well, a couple reasons, which are some of its strengths. EVE Online is a game that is a sandbox game. Now, for those guys who don't know what the difference between, because there aren't many sandbox games around anymore. Back in the day, that's all there was, but now they're all theme parks. So, to give you an idea, EVE is a sandbox. EverQuest is a theme park. Albion is a sandbox, or at least it has sandbox elements. I would argue it's fairly sandboxy. WoW is a theme park. Guild Wars is a theme park. ESO is a theme park. So what is the difference between a sandbox game and a theme park? Theme parks they're kind of like exactly what you would think a theme park is. It's what do you do in a theme park? A theme park, you go in, you ride the rides, Jesus, that's fast. I don't think I could even get out of that if I wanted to. You ride the rides, you enjoy them, you partake in them, and then once you've ridden the rides, you've pretty much seen everything there is to do in that game. There's no player-generated content, whereas with sandbox games, there is what we call player-generated content. So what is player-generated content? Well, usually you have an open system where, like for instance in Albion, this is your open-ended system here. You have casters with a variety of weapons. You have, cloth armor. You've got bows. You've got, a variety of different stuff. Well, isn't that just classes? No, because with classes, you are stuck with certain things. Like, for instance, what if you want to be a cleric that uses, all fire damage spells? You can't do that. You can't make a fire wizard cleric. You can in a lot of these sandbox type games. Ultima Online was the first sandbox game. It was also, one could argue, the first commercial success of MMOs, but I'm getting off on a tangent. So the point was, the nice thing about sandbox games is it's not about the content, so to speak. It's about, how the players interact with the content. And so EVE is sandboxy in the aspect that, you can claim not a dungeon, but an area of space, and you defend and fight with that space, and you try to keep other people from, taking your stuff, et cetera, et cetera. You build physical structures, those are part of your your guild's infrastructure, so to speak, and it's a big part of your gameplay. And then you can actually more or less claim like an area of space, and then I don't think this is gonna work. There it goes, it did, I guess. And so the player generated content comes from you guys all working together for a common goal to claim an area of space, and then other people being like, hey, I want that space too, and now you've got a war that's raging over this space. And that's not anything that a developer did. So let's say I claim an area of space, and then you want to take that space from me, but let's say you're not a fighter. Let's say you don't want to fight. Well, you've got money though, because you're an industrialist, so you hire a merc corp. So that mercenary corp then comes in and starts doing a campaign against your group that's out in the space, and you don't even fucking know who this industrialist is, whose day you ruined or pissed off, or maybe you killed him once, or maybe he just wants the ore in your space, or whatever fucking reason it is. The point is, the mercs have PvP content now because they're being paid. You have content because you're defending your space. And the industrialist has content because he's paying somebody to deal with one of the issues that he doesn't want to, doesn't have the time, the skill set, the fortitude, whatever to deal with. All of that is player-generated content that does not exist in a game like World of Warcraft. Does that make sense? So, in WoW, you get on, you do the mythics, you do the raids, maybe you do a little bit of PvP in an instance. You're not going to be fighting the same people every day. You're not going to be getting to know your opponents. You're going to be fighting, random dudes. I mean, I guess you could argue in arenas that you're going to be building a relationship with some of the other people, maybe in top tiers, if you were able to get there, but it's literally not the same thing. And so that's kind of the difference between theme parks and sandbox games. So Albion is not the same level of a theme park as EvE is. It is what I would call kind of like a sandbox light. It has a lot of sandbox features. In fact, it has a lot of EvE features, but they don't always come over, the way they should, so to speak. Like, for instance, EvE has a game, has wormhole space, and in not doing that. Wormhole space is an area of space that is outside normal space. So in EvE, the way space works is... Oh, fuck this, dude. So think of space as like a circle, okay? And so you've got a circle, you've got a connection to other circles, and those connections never change. So they're called gates. So let's say you've got system A and system B, and they're connected with a gate. So you always can go from A to B and B to A, and that never changes. You always know where it is, and there's thousands of systems, and they all link up in the exact same way every day. They never change. You don't have to worry about, that. In wormhole space, it's totally different. In wormhole space, you'll have system A, you'll have system B, and you'll have system D and C, and sometimes A, B, and C, and D will all be connected in a chain. Sometimes A and D will be connected, and B and C will be connected, but they won't connect to each other. Sometimes there will be a completely other system that is connected with it. So the connections are always randomized, and so that makes it to where if you set up in one of those places, you never know what you're going to get, so to speak, in that area, and you're never going to know where you're going to end up, what could be waiting for you. Not only that, but like, let's say you fight somebody and they live in one of those spaces, how you get there today will not be how you get there tomorrow. And so you might have gone to system A and then jumped into the wormhole space and be able to get to system C, and then the next day A and C are no longer connected. Now you have to go through D into, B, into, Q, into F, and then, 3 more systems, and then you might be able to get back there. Now, that may not sound complicated, but when you're talking about 1,000 systems in EvE, and then I think another 3,000 systems in EvE, and I think 1,000 systems in wormhole space. So every day you're shuffling all the connections to all of those spaces, and again, they don't always all connect to each other. That's makes for some very interesting gameplay. Well, Albion has something similar to that called Avalon Road, or I think it's Avalon or Avalonian Roads, something like that. And it's basically sort of like the same thing. The difference there is the connections are randomized, but the zones don't, like, you can't pop wormholes. So in EvE, connections are, well, I guess you can actually, but it's a little different. In EvE, connections are, like I said, they're randomized, but you run a certain number of people through a wormhole, and then that wormhole, okay, fuck this, I need to heal. Ooh, that was some good healing. Oh, fuck that. Will you just fucking die, please? Nope. Please stop dumping the ceiling. Oh my god, that was about as close as you can possibly get. Woo! Okay. Alright, well, what are we gonna get? Anything good? Maybe? That's actually not too bad. Wow, holy shit. Okay, that's actually really fucking nice. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So anyways, in EvE, when you go through one of those connections into wormhole space, that connection has a mass limit. So like, let's say it's 1,000, okay? Well, then you can move ships through there as long as they are less than that mass limit, and then every time you go through, you are consuming that mass. And so once that mass is gone, then the wormhole disappears and a new one opens up. And so with that, if you were to live in wormhole space, you can change the connections that are on your system. So you go through the door a bunch. Basically, to put it in simple terms, your system will have a door, either an exit or an entrance, or technically both, depending on how you look at it. If you're coming in, it's an entrance. If you're leaving, it's an exit. And you can go back and forth through that door, and eventually that door will close. Well, Avalonian Roads, which like this one right here is, I don't know if I can, I don't think I can give you guys any more information on that. Okay, so right here you can see that this will close in 11 hours. If we go through this, that will change. So like right now, see it says 1 of 7. That means 6 people have come through that in the last, I think it's 7 minutes is the cycle change on that. So if we put 7 people through it, then that gate locks and it reduces the timer, I believe, or at least I've been told that way. I don't know if that's 100% true. So when it locks, it basically means that only 7 people can go through this gate at a time. And see how the timer just changed? So 242, 240, 36, 234. See how it's counting down? Oh, and somebody else just went through. So now no one else can go through this gate for another 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Now, when that cycles, 7 more people can go through. And now this is another gate that's also 7. It's also locked. And you can see right there, 7 minutes and 27 seconds until it unlocks. So it kind of, and that's not the only size. I think there's 2, 7, and 20, I want to say. And so what it basically does is, as a smaller scale player, if you want, you and your buddy of 2 can go through a 2 gate, and then no one's going to come through behind you for like 5 minutes or so. And that gives you a moment to kind of do the content, maybe get away, maybe, you know, figure out what you want to do, etc., etc. And that'll, I'd rather do a corrupted dungeon if I can. Although that last one paid out pretty good for us. Maybe we do want to do that. Fuck it. It'll let me continue to talk and not overthink things. So anyways, it's a very similar system to EvE, but it is not at the same time. They also, you know, EvE has what they call 0-0 space, which is unlawful space where people can kill each other. Albion has a very similar system called black zones. You would also, I guess I would argue, like yellow space, or yellow space. Yellow zones are a zone where you can be killed, but you don't lose anything. And then red zones, I believe you can lose things in red zones. No, in fact, I know you can lose things in red zones. But there's still a flagging process. So to put it in EvE terms, yellow zones would kind of be like low sec light, I guess is probably the easiest way to put it. And then red zones. I should just fucking kill this thing. I didn't realize I could actually target it. That's pretty cool, actually. Fucking asshole. There we go. All right. Yellow zones are going to be like low sec light because you can't actually lose your shit. And then red zones, you can lose your shit, but it still requires flagging, which would be full low sec in EvE. And then you have black zones, which are straight up 0-0 space in EvE, which means anybody can kill anybody. I don't believe there's a faction hit for that. Not faction, but a standing hit. But I don't know that for sure. I haven't done research on the standing stuff, so there might still be a standing hit. Ooh, this is going to be dirty. Oh, no. No. Y'all need to cut that shit out. Alright. I can go bear mode. It's funny. I actually have a weapon called bear claws right now. Or bear paws, which is kind of funny because I'm fighting bears. Get it? Get the joke? So anyways, this has a lot of similarities to EvE. It's not the same, but it does have a lot of similarities. And unlike EvE, JJ doesn't hate this. It's got enough EvE stuff in it that does cater to me. I mean, there's a lot of shit in this game that is like some of the differences. So for instance, EvE is all casual leveling, so to speak. And by that, I mean, you pick what you want to level and then it just levels based on time. It's not actually like right here, I'm killing things and this points right here, that's all EXP basically. So I'm earning I'm earning, shit, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Fame is what they call it. So I'm earning fame, and that fame is what it levels your character up. That's what lets you use different stuff. So like for instance here, okay, so you can see right here, this is 5,000 fame. So to use tier 2 stuff, I have to hit this limit. Okay, well then, you know, like let's say I want to wear, you know, tier 8 boots. Well, to get to tier 8, I have to be level 100, and to get to level 100, I have to complete this bar 100 times. And so that's how you basically progress, is you go and you kill shit and it progresses for you, which is nice, but it also has its drawbacks. So the nice thing about EvE is EvE, you basically pick your skill and then you right click it and say I want to level this, and then it levels, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Okay, these are gonna fucking suck. I'm gonna kill this fucker first. Okay, let's not fucking hump the lightning. God dang it. So the nice thing about that is if you are a working professional, or you have a real life, or you have a demanding job, or, you know, maybe you just don't want to play a video game 18 hours a day, you can still keep up. So like for instance, if I play, let's say 6 hours a week and my brother plays 70 hours a week, we are both going to level and progress at the exact same time in EVE Online. At least skill point wise. Now there's other grinds in EVE. You know, you have the money grind, you have trading and finances and stuff like that, plus actually physically learning the game. You know, it's a very complicated game, so there's a lot of mechanics to it. All of that takes time to learn. So JJ is going to be playing 70 hours a week, and while we may stay close to each other in abilities wise, at least when it comes to levels, JJ is going to be making a fuck ton more money than me. He's going to be, I'm just going to take that hit. He's going to be able to, you know, afford things that I can't afford, etc., etc. So that's kind of the difference between those two. Whereas with Albion, I actually physically have to get out here and grind. So JJ, if he's playing 70 hours a week and I'm playing 6 hours a week, he is gonna smoke me. Like, it's not even gonna be close. You know, he's gonna be several, you know, he might have a couple skills at 100 before I even get 1 to 100. So that's kind of the difference between Albion and EVE. Both of those systems have benefits and drawbacks. You know, it just kind of depends on what you like. Some of the other issues with Albion and EVE. EVE has it has a complicated UI, but it is a very good UI. So like for instance, this target down here, in Albion, I have to physically see it, I have to physically click on it to attack it, etc., etc. In EVE Online, it's just on the list here. I would click it here, and then I would have that target, and then I would right click it, attack, and now my character is attacking it, and I can focus on my modules, I can focus on keeping distance, I can focus on my trajectory, I can focus on other things. In Albion, I have to click it, now I'm attacking it, I have to to, constantly move. I have to keep, attacking. I have to dodge this shit, which obviously is a little bit more engaging, I guess you could argue. Although EvE has other things that make it engaging too, like positioning, trajectories, transversals, speeds, distance, etc., etc., etc. Targeting friendlies in this game. In this game, you'll have a list down here of all of your friends. EvE has a similar system, but EvE's system, in my opinion, is superior in targeting, especially as a support player in this game. Like, for instance, you would see a list here of everybody down here that would be all of our friends. It doesn't gray out. Like in WoW, if you're a healer and somebody runs out of range from you, then they will gray out. And then okay, I can't heal that person, right? They're out of range. I don't, if I'm going to try and heal that person, I'm going to need to approach that person. In Albion, you don't know. And it's not necessarily a bad deal, except in a lot of fights, you're fighting with people who you may not necessarily have an intimate relationship with. And what I mean by that is, like, if me and JJ are fighting, it's no big deal because I know what JJ looks like. I know where JJ's going to be. Me and him have a plan. We have coordination. We've been working together, etc., etc. If we're in a ZVZ, like Zerg versus Zerg, I might be playing with people I've never played with before. I don't necessarily know where they're going to be standing. They may have gotten, CC'd off a point while we were pushing something, or, maybe we're doing a random crystal dungeon, or not crystal dungeon, crystal arena, and we've got people that aren't in comms with us. So these guys may not know we're trying to hold this point or pushing a point. And so you have separation there. And when you have separation, it gets a lot harder to, especially when you have like 8 people on top of each other fighting, you can't really tell where people are. I mean, you can physically see them, but you may not especially when you're panic healing, so to speak. Yeah, let's do this. You're not going to be able to tell necessarily which of the 3 of your 5 people are on you. And so that can be frustrating. There's a different, each spell has its own ranges, so you can run into issues there. Switching targets, like there is like in EvE, if I target you, I have you targeted, right? So like right now I have this guy targeted. I still have him targeted. I can press spacebar and I will come back to this guy and I will fight him. Well, that sticky targeting is kind of a pain in the ass when I'm trying to front load heals. So like, for instance, if I'm trying to cast a spell physically, okay, you fucking kill that guy. Oh my God. What is this, like a damage absorption or some shit? So like, for instance, see how this is pulled up an icon? Okay, well, if I have a target, it's just going to cast it, right? Well, let's say I have, Bob targeted, okay? So I've got Bob targeted. Well, I'm trying to heal Ted over here. Well, in other games, I can easily tab target or switch targets to that character. In Albion, it can be a little tricky sometimes, especially if you're spam healing, because sometimes your target will just drop. And if your target drops, now you've got a cursor instead of just healing the target that you thought you were going to heal. Holy shit. Can you not, please? You also have targeting sometimes where you want to target somebody, but you're casting a spell on another person. It's kind of hard to explain without actually getting into it and playing it, but the targeting can be a pain and be a little bit nastier to deal with at times, in my opinion, than EvE's group system, especially in ZVZ. Like in ZVZ, it's a nightmare because if people aren't stacked, you're not going to be able to hit them. It's a mess. It's doable. There are tactics, there are methods, there are controls that you can use to get around it, but it is not as efficient. I don't think I like ZBZ in this game. I think the biggest I might like would be like 10 man, but I was in a 100 man, 100 on 100 fight with my old guild. We ended up leaving them. Good guild, just not a good fit for us. But yeah, they were in a 100v100 fight. Well, actually, it was 100 of us versus 2 different guilds of 100, so we kind of got smashed. But it just was a mess. And yeah, I'm gonna do this. Well, wait, do I have enough room? Yeah, I do. Okay, I think I do. Let me get rid of my pet. See, no, I want to. I guess I can just walk out here. What's my weight at? Oh yeah, we're fine. Where was I? Okay, yeah, so 100v100, it looked amazing, but it was chaotic as fuck. You know, it's not like what I'm used to. You know, I'm used to games like Dark Age of Camelot where, you know, we're calling targets, there's assisting. There's no assisting in this game. So what do I mean by assisting? All right, let's say I am the main assist. I am the MA. Well, if I have a target, then I want my group and or party and or raid, depending on, you know, the instance, to assist me on that target. Well, in PvP, that target is changing every 2 to 3 seconds or faster. So I can be like, all right, I'm on so-and-so, I'm on so-and-so, I'm on so-and-so, kill that person, move, we're on this person, you know, and you're constantly changing targets because you're fucking hopefully killing the targets. Well, Albion doesn't have an assisting option outside of individual groups. So for instance, if I am the group leader, then I can call targets and we can, I mean, it's not the same system, but it is functionally the same. I can make it work, but it only works if I'm the group leader. So for instance, if we're doing crystal dungeons, I can't call targets for my brother, even though we're technically in a group because I'm not the group leader. I guess we could probably do it if we queued as a 5-man, but it still would be nice to call targets just so that we could easily target things. Unfortunately, you know, getting the group leader, it requires some setup. You know, like you have to go into the settings. Like for instance, here we go into game settings, we go into controls, we go into key bindings. We scroll down here to select mark target and use marker. So here I can set a target, and then I can have my team select that target that I've called. But that only works in a group if I'm the leader, and we can't do it cross groups. So, you know, at a certain point, you're not going to be able to do it. And, I mean, in all fairness, at a certain point, it's not going to work in ZVZs here, really, because it's just not that kind of game. You know, you're going to be dealing with hundreds of players and instantly killing people, and, you know, it's more of a tactical movement game than a tactical DPS game. So, like in EvE, it's more about calling targets. So you'll be setting up your targets. So like, all right, primary is so-and-so, secondary is so-and-so, tertiary is so-and-so. Get ready. We're going to DPS in 3, 2, 1, boom. And then you DPS your primary. And then all of their healers are going to switch to that primary to try and keep it up. And then you'll switch to your tertiary in a hopes to fuck their healers up so they can't switch targets fast enough. And then you do that multiple times, and eventually you start killing people. And then hopefully you've killed enough people that you've weakened them, etc., etc. So in Albion, it's not like that. In Albion, it's like, look east, look west, look east, we're moving in 3, 2, 1, and then you all blow your AoE abilities on a general area and you kill everything in that area, hopefully. And then whoever does that more effectively wins. But it is not like healing in that situation, at least in my opinion. Okay, somebody's just invaded us. Cool. Probably about to get my ass spanked. Now let's go back and hit. Whoops. Let's go back and hit this. So this is a corrupted dungeon. Corrupted dungeons. I don't lose anything if I die. Neither does the person who's fighting me. But you might get a reward for doing it. So you'll get some of the stuff from his dungeon, so to speak. Well, in this, I can invade people or they can invade me. It really just depends on what happens. Whoop, don't hit me. This is a new build that I'm trying. I haven't got much time with it, and I'm not running the optimal setup because I don't have all the levels. So I'm probably not going to do too well. But there he is. Oh, what kind of shuriken is? Oh, it's a druid staff. Okay. Well, all right, fine. I will chase you down, buddy. What kind of? All right, bye. Thanks for playing. Appreciate you. All right, so he just fucking died, and this is the loot I get. So wow, 113k. Holy fucking shit. That's actually pretty well. Whoa! That's pretty good. Damn, dude. That's probably the best kill I've ever gotten in Corrupted Dungeon. Now, there's versions of Corrupted Dungeons. There's lethal and non-lethal. I'm doing non-lethals because I'm still learning, and I don't really have income to do lethals, but I will be switching to lethals here in the future. So anyways, I've said all that to basically say this is a game that is close enough to the game I wish we were playing. That my brother can stand. And so we're going to try it. We've been playing it for about a month now, and anybody who's watched my channel long enough knows I'm a little hoppy, skippy when it comes to certain things. So this, I feel like if I've been playing a game for a month and still enjoying it, oh my god, can we not fucking stand in the silencing cloud, please? Okay, this is not good. There we go. If I've been playing it for a month straight and I'm still addicted to it, then I think it's probably safe to announce. So, that being said, I don't know how long we've been going. I've been rambling forever. I am going to start streaming this game on YouTube because I'm done with Twitch. Fuck them. I am going to be doing guides for this. I don't know if we're going to make a guild. The reason I would love to make my own guild. The reason I say that is I would love to be able to, guarantee that my type of setup is done, my type of content is done, etc., etc. But guilds do require a time investment, a massive time investment. There's politics, there's, guides, there's recruitment. All of that is a massive amount of time. And I'm not saying that's not bad, but all of that is time that not necessarily spent, because when you're running a guild, you're not necessarily playing the game. Does that make sense? Because if I want to play the game tonight, but I have to deal with a political issue, or I have to do recruitment interviews, or I have to solve maybe Bob killed somebody and pissed somebody off, or maybe we're being there's shit I have to do other than necessarily play the game, and I already don't have a whole lot of time. So yeah, we may just join a guild. It really just depends. We did try to join a guild that sounded cool on paper, but it wasn't a good fit for us. We're going to try again, I think, maybe one, maybe two more times to try and find a fit for us. And then, plus, we're new to the game, so we're trying to figure out the activities we like. I know what I enjoy doing in EvE, which is a very similar game to this, sort of. But that doesn't necessarily, it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio. Does that make sense? So, it's I like this, but it's a little different here. I don't know if I'm going to like their version, so to speak. So I got to try it, see if it's something I like. If I don't, then, we want to try something else. And then, as we kind of play around with it and learn, we make adjustments. So, and then once we figure out what we want, if I can't find a guild that does it the way we want to do it, then we can make a guild. So, for now, probably not going to make a guild, but we are going to be playing the game. My current interest / focus, we're going to be doing crystals ranked, which are basically 5v5 random solo queues. We queue with 2 people right now. I think Lax is joining us, so that's going to be 3. We don't have a healer yet, and we need 1 more DPS if you'd like to play. Something to think about. Keep in mind for crystals and ranked, I want to be very inclusive, and I want everybody to, literally have a part, but when it comes to ranked, once you start doing ranked and stuff like that, there are certain requirements, you may have to run a build that you don't like. You might have to play a certain way. You might need to reach certain DPS thresholds, if I'm pulling 40, let's say we need a DPS, you want to be our DPS. If I'm pulling 40,000 damage and JJ's pulling 40,000 damage and you're pulling 5,000 damage, that's a problem, So for the ranked crystals, we will have to be kind of picky. You're welcome to try out, but you will need to hit certain benchmarks. I'm not saying it's hard because me and JJ are trash, but what are we at? After a couple weeks, we have played 120 crystal matches. We've won 55 of them for a 45% win rate, and we are currently 1238 and bronze. We kind of changed up our builds a bit, and we have been destroying recently. I think I think we're at about an 85-90% win rate over our last 20 games. So that percentage is coming up. Also, the people we're fighting against and fighting with has drastically improved, which is good. Because, if you're fighting against good people, you're going to learn more. And if your teammates don't suck, then you're going to win more, etc., etc. But other than that, we're doing crafting, or at least I am, gathering and crafting. We're doing fame farming, which is basically, what I'm doing kind of right now, but in group settings. And we are going to do some PvP. I want to look at Avalons, or Avalonians. I don't know what the fucking right terminology is, but I want to do basically this game's version of wormholes. I'm really fascinated by that, so me and JJ are going to be trying that today once he gets back from the gym and being a healthy, useful adult instead of staying at home and being a good gaming fatty like myself. What a fucking noob, right? Ooh. Okay, where's it gonna land? I hate this shit. There we go. Dodged it. So that's something you're interested in. There is going to be a link in the video description. You can sign up. If you sign up, that does help me. Not financially. I don't get any money for it, but it will give me, I think, in-game gold if you eventually were to buy a premium membership. That premium, basically that gold allows me to buy equipment, skills, and stuff like that. Etc., etc., etc. So if that's something you're interested in, use my link or don't. That's up to you. You don't have to by any means. I would appreciate it if you did, but you don't have to. And then just shoot me a tell. My name's Pyro Stasis in game. I can get you added to the friends list, and we can see where we end up. But you are going to start seeing content soon. You're going to start seeing guides soon. Why am I doing guides? Because guides work on YouTube. It's something I've always done well with. Jesus Christ, the loot today has been fucking insane. What in the fuck? I have never gotten loot. I swear, dude, like, everybody jokes about, like, streamer luck and shit like that. I have never, ever gotten good loot like this out of dungeons and random dungeons. This is insane. You guys, so like as soon as I started recording, I mean, this may be a 14-hour video because I'm making some bucks. But anyways, you're going to see guides, you're going to see tips and tricks, probably crafting focus, Avalonian roads focused, a few build guides where I explain the builds that I'm using and that have worked for me. These are definitely not going to be meta builds by any means, but they're going to be builds that I use and that I've tested and that have worked for me. And then the reason I put that caveat there is we're noobs. So what works for me may not work ever for anyone else ever because it's terrible. But, I killed some people with it, so fuck you. Y'all just saw me eat that fucking dude. No, that guy definitely wasn't top tier. He didn't hardly fight, tried to run away screaming the entire time, and he died horribly. It was quite entertaining. That's how I like my PvP, where my opponents die and die horribly. Am I still where I think I am? Yes, I am. Okay. So anyways, if you want to play, there's a link in the video description. Click it. The game is free. It doesn't cost anything. It does have a membership if you want to use it, but you do not have to. In my opinion, you pretty much need it, but you definitely don't have to. That membership, I think, is $10 a month or $11 a month. Premium. Let's see. So you can buy it with in-game gold, right? So if that's what you want to do, you can buy it with in-game gold. Nope. I want to actually go to the actual game. Here we go. Let me drag this over. I think y'all can see it. There we go. So their actual website. Yeah, I want to be careful what I show because I want to make sure, it's like, oh, my credit card is being shown. Subscribe now. Here we go. So you can see 1 month is $12. So it's cheaper than most other MMOs on the market. I think Final Fantasy's 1 character subscription is this price. And this is also fully functional on mobile and tablets, if that's your thing. And I use the word fully functional in air quotes because, yes, while you can do it, what I just did would be challenging unless you're, you know, a spider monkey with tentacles on mobile, just because the movement in this game, it does require orb walking to do well, in my opinion. You may say differently, but in my opinion it does. What orb walking is we're basically, and I don't know if you can see my character, this is what Zerg v Zerg looks like, by the way. Yeah, so anyways, your stat, like step attack, step attack, step attack, step attack, that's what orb walking is. So that's very hard to do on a mobile. So for me, this game will always be a PC only game, but there are people who do play it on mobile. So gathering you could definitely do on mobile. There's a lot of activities, you know, kind of the PvE / money making activities. Whoops, I'm saving those, which would work that way. So it really just depends on what you want to do. But yeah. So anyways, if you're interested, let me know if there's anything specific you'd like to see. Let me know if there's anything you're specifically interested in. Otherwise, just sit back, enjoy the guides. We will do streams probably at nights during the week when me and JJ are doing crystals, or maybe roaming, yanking, and stuff like that. So if that's something you want to see, make sure. God, I cannot believe I got something like that. That's fucking crazy. I mean, it's not insane money, but for me, that's a pretty good value, man. I did pretty good today. That's not bad. That's no bad. Oh. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you listening. Sorry I went on a rambling rant. Hopefully you enjoyed the rambling rant. If you did and you want to help me out, hit the like button. Leave a comment in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to be a super mega crazy person, there's a join button down below where you can financially support the channel if you so choose. If not, that's cool too. Content's always free, always will be. Love to see you guys. Next video coming out probably this weekend, so stick around. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.